Ben Bateman here with the Popcorn Talk Network, talking to, amazingly enough, in the same room with Michael Biehn and Jennifer Blanc Biehn. How are you guys?
Good, real good.
Good, and you got my name right, which is awesome.
Mine too.
And his. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, 2 for 2.
Yeah, so you guys just got into Comic-Con, right?
Just got here like an hour and a half ago.
Maybe even less.
Yeah.
We just rolled in.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Nobody knows you're here. You guys are stealth right now.
Yeah.
Pretty stealth.
You guys are
Pretty
stealth.
Came in like
Yeah.
underground.
Yeah, that's amazing. I saw a press release earlier in the week for the Aliens 30th anniversary thing. You would think your car would be mobbed. There'd be people like Twilight style hanging on the bumpers at this point.
They had like a secret route for us.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
There was like
Okay.
a back entrance that
Yeah.
we go under,
Right.
and then there's people waiting there for you, and people that are with us waiting for us, and then there's like a bar and like food
cool.
in the garage.
Wow.
It's Comic-Con, man.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, like in the secret garage, and then we just went up an elevator, and here we were. So
You guys are remarkably like not sweaty right now for being here. This is a pretty impressive feat considering going like 2 blocks here and you're just drenched head to toe.
well, it's
I'm surprised.
pretty impressive
I'm
feat for
surprised.
me in general. I'm a pretty sweaty girl.
But I'm surprised because I always think of San Diego as kind of like just cool.
Yeah, right.
Cooler than LA, you know,
Totally.
and it's always hot in LA. It's getting hotter.
Yeah.
So, but I guess in San Diego it's getting hotter too. I mean, I guess it's getting
goodness.
hotter everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's 12 degrees less here than it
Is
was
it?
in LA today. Yeah.
I think when we were leaving LA it was 100.
12 degrees less? I can't believe that. I can't believe that.
But then there's the humidity also, but I don't know if there's any humidity here. But the LA, now in the valley, you're starting to get humidity.
Yeah.
Things are changing.
Walking outside
We all know
feels pretty humid to me, but I'm the guy wearing a suit. The idiot in San Diego in a suit. So.
And
I
are you
think-
wearing that the whole time, like just outside in the heat? You're not like in a car or nothing? Just...
Yeah, I mean, me and my co-host on the show, that Popcorn Talk show, Action Movie Anatomy, we're kind of like the nerds in suits guys. We kind of dress up, we talk about nerdy stuff that we love, and that's sort of, you got to stick with it if you're in San Diego. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about
the weather.
yeah, talking about the weather. Exactly. That's what this interview's about. Let's talk about the weather.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So no, I want to talk to you guys about your production company. You got a couple films just late in the next year or two, right, coming out. So,
Yeah.
and you're in one of them together. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, let me think about this. One, he and Tia Carrera play husband and wife, and I directed it actually.
Oh, wow, cool.
Yeah, and that's cool. And that's from our production company. And it's called The Girl. It may get renamed Psychopath.
Oh.
If that makes any sense, that it was once called The Girl and then becomes Psychopath. But
You went through a transformation, I guess.
We don't have any control over a lot of things once we sell
once
them.
once they're in Distro's hands, it's like but we have Hidden in the Woods coming out,
Yeah.
and it's I'm gonna say this. It's gonna have its Spanish premiere at Sitges Film
cool.
Festival.
Okay, great.
It's the 49th annual Sitges Film Festival in Spain, and it's
is
you're
a
the
great
first person
festival.
we're telling, and they
This
haven't
is
even
news right now. You're
Yeah, this
breaking
is
it.
like breaking
there it
news,
is.
and it's a big deal for us. You know,
Tweet it out.
tweet it
all
out,
of a
yeah,
sudden everybody in the country knows it, right?
because they didn't actually show the original because
Yeah.
it was too brutal.
Oh.
And the fact that they're showing the remake is kind of a big deal, I think, for the filmmaker,
Yeah.
who's also of Spanish descent, and all of that. But it's called Hidden in the Woods. It's Michael and William Forsythe,
Oh, yeah.
and
great.
some
Great.
other
He's had a
really
great
cool
career.
people. Yeah,
Great career.
He was in The Rock with you, yeah? Yeah, awesome.
Absolutely. Good
Yeah,
knowledge there on that one.
love
Yeah.
yeah. And Electra Avalon from Grindhouse, who's in Grindhouse with Michael,
Sweet. Yeah,
is
yeah.
in it,
Good
and
one.
I mean all kinds of cool
Aliens,
people. Oh, Rico Ross, who's here this weekend at some
sweet.
point. He's in Aliens, but he's also in
He's
Hidden in
in
the
it.
Woods.
Yeah.
I'm in
Nice
it
cast.
too.
We
One of my
shot it on
co-stars
location
from Dark
down
Angels
in
in it.
Texas, and it was an
intense.
interesting shoot. Yeah,
Cool.
down in Texas. Yeah.
Okay, great.
in Sugarland.
Sugarland.
And when can we expect to see Hidden in the Woods? When is that coming out?
So Hidden in the Woods is released December 2nd.
Okay.
It's going to have a small limited theatrical release, maybe like 2 or 3 cities.
Okay.
And then it's wide December 2nd everywhere.
Yep.
VOD, everything. And then The Girl, or AKA Psychopath, is out the first week of January.
Okay.
And we have a new acquisition, which is Psychophonia,
Yeah.
that will be out in February.
Okay, sweet. Awesome. That's exciting to hear. So I mentioned earlier that we do this show, Action Movie Anatomy, and we've done 63 episodes now, and we've.
Good. Congratulations.
Thank you. We've covered, at this point, of our movies we cover, we do one movie a week: Aliens, Tombstone, and The Rock.
Oh, really?
All three. And we rank our heroes. So we've got Johnny Ringo on there. We've got Commander Anderson. Yeah, it's good stuff. But so what we're cracking up about is, again, the same guy, my co-host, we're in this fantasy football league together. And I'm the commissioner. And I deliver a passionate speech on camera at the beginning of the league every year, right? I like to steal lines from my favorite movies to put into the speech.
Right.
So I'm up there in front of everybody, and I'm like, make no mistake about it, gentlemen, you were in for the fight of your lives against probably the greatest level of competition you've ever come up against in your professional or personal lives. I shit you not. And I couldn't wait to talk to you guys. I
Where's
wanted to
that
share
come
with you.
from, by the way?
Yeah, what movie is that from, right?
Can you guess? The Rock.
It's so good. On the show, we have something called Fist Bump Moment, and it's kind of that moment when you're watching a movie and something happens where you're looking at your buddies. You're like, "Are you seeing this right now? This is amazing. We get to watch the rest of this movie." It could be anything, but we always talk about in The Rock. It's that shower room interaction with you and Ed Harris. It's like this incredibly intense moment. I cannot give that order. That whole thing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
One of the lines
I
from
mean,
that is, we spilled the same blood, the same mud.
The same mud.
Beautiful line.
You know goddamn well I cannot give that order. I'm doing your lines for you. Sorry, I can't do it. But looking
pretty good job.
Yeah, I'm looking back.
down there.
So looking back on it, when you're thinking about some of those moments, I mean, incredible 10-year run there, right? There's 5 movies that are iconic to the degree that it's like every fanboy's dream, and you were in 5 of them in 10 years. So when you think back to something like that scene with Ed Harris, I mean, is there a party that's just like, wow, I was just doing this, I was having a good time with Michael Bay, and I became a part of action movie history in a way that I could never have imagined at that moment?
All of them that I've been in that have, come around. Maybe Aliens, to a certain extent, we had an idea that it could possibly be interesting because, Jim had already done The Terminator. But, you really never know with movies.
Yeah.
And, you just never really know until you put it in front of an audience. And I've been really lucky, I think, to tell you the truth. I've been really lucky.
He works hard.
I've worked with some great
that way.
people. There's some great people in the Rock. I mean, Nick Cage. I think it's Nick's best performance. I've worked with him on a couple of movies, and he had won the Academy Award for leaving Las Vegas.
Yeah, 95. Yeah.
And
Wow.
it was the next year, and he's
You guys are serious.
he's just so good in it, and he really carries that movie. And sometimes he can be a little big, sometimes, but he's fantastic in that movie, And it was great fun, and again, playing a Navy SEAL, which I had some background,
little experience,
in Navy SEAL, in a couple of movies. Actually, the first SEAL I ever played was in The Abyss, which is a role that I loved, and it was the first time I'd ever even heard of a Navy SEAL. I don't think anybody had ever heard of a Navy SEAL. And now they're kind of like...
Right. Now, so when the two of you guys look back, and you've with this production company, and you're working on your own stuff now, so you look back to those films, and like I said, this iconic slate, is there a party that references, this experience working on, say, The Abyss or Terminator, or even like Tombstone, which is a movie that I know in production kind of fell apart. You guys had to pull together to kind of piece it back together to finish it.
Exactly.
Do you draw a lot of experience with the stuff you're working on together, and you have, a lot you can share from those moments? Tombstone especially, I've read that story.
I mean, I've just learned a lot from. I mean, I have a career since I was a kid, but I've learned so much from Michael since I've known Michael, just about acting and about choices and about truth.
Yeah.
Being true to what you believe for yourself. But as far as the, I'd say you can pretty much draw from that stuff.
Well, the thing about it is, our company was kind of inspired by Robert Rodriguez and me working with him on Grindhouse. Yeah. And I didn't even know really what Grindhouse movies were, except for I realized that when I was a kid I used to go to them all the time at the outdoor theaters, and it was like the first movie that was played before it even got dark. It was like the first movie that played, and I realized that. So, we made The Victim, and The Victim did really well.
It's it's playing right now in UK. Okay, cool. As we're talking to you. So,
it was fun, but it was like a lot of hard work. But the thing about our movies is they are made anywhere from. We've had movies made from anywhere from about 25,000 to 600,000.
Yeah, that's
so
the
we're
range.
dealing
So
with
under
budgets.
$1 million.
We're dealing with budgets, that are like when I did The Victim, I wrote it in 2 weeks. I shot it in 12 days.
2 weeks, that's impressive.
Yeah, and I did all pre-production while I was writing it. So that usually not the way that you, not the way
people were not happy, but.
And we had to start with the love scene in the movie because the script wasn't finished, and so we got naked on the first day of the shooting. And
then he directed naked.
Gladiator was the same way, so don't worry about it, guys. I'm actually dead serious. That script wasn't finished when they started shooting.
Is it really?
Yeah, dead serious.
You have so many facts. It's crazy.
We love what we do. I'm being dead serious. So don't worry about it. I mean, they won an Academy Award, so.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, it was.
The films are completely different.
Yeah.
It's much smaller, and it's much more like we kind of consider. I did the first two. Was in the first two. Kind of to get the company off the ground, I think, but it's hard work, man. I mean, it's 12 hours a day, and when you're working on like a really low budget, when you're directing it, or when you're in them, and so on and so forth, it's a lot of hard work, Yeah. And so
it's not the same as being on a series. It's not the same as these movies,
You're not catered to at all. I mean, you have to do the catering, to other people, right. And it's a young person's game. So we've kind of like, in a way, for me especially, I've kind of like. We're trying to step back and let other people kind of take it to, the next level, or take it to wherever it's going to go. And it's kind of like, at this point, we're letting as many young people with ideas and good scripts and good, passion about what they want to do.
A lot of women.
And we'll say, listen, we got, this much amount of money, and we got, 12 days for you. Yeah. And that's all you're going to get. And if you go over, sorry, there is no going over. It's just that we're just going to have to cut it out.
And depending on the budget, we've made them for smaller amounts of days, like.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Michael's was 12. I think our minimum amount of days was 5.
And at the end of it, you get a product that you're proud of, which is, so who cares what it costs? At the end of the day, you write something, you make it. I mean, that's amazing. So that's very cool to hear. I do want to ask one quick question. I wasn't going to go there just because I think the 30th anniversary, you're going to get so many questions about it. But
that's right.
Go there.
If you can ask me a question that nobody's asked me about aliens before.
That's going to be tough to do.
No, come on, you can do it.
What I really want to do right now is I just want to nerd out about that scene when Ripley sees the Queen, because it's all practical, and we talk so much about how practical effects versus CGI, but I'm not going to do that because you're not even in that scene.
Right. I love that scene myself. I love the way I love the way that it gets hit. Yeah. Like the mother gets hit by that grenade launcher. Just something powerful about that. I love this scene. I love her. I love Sigourney's look. That kind of look of like, fuck it, man. Whoa!
She's like, I have to do this. She's like, I can't not do this. So the question I have is, I've read a lot about the direct sequel that people are talking about with Neil, and it would completely eschew any of the Alien 3 stuff that happened, right? It would go directly after Aliens. Any detail you can share with me about that, just quickly? Conversations you've had, something exciting little detail for us.
I was with Sigourney Weaver in front of a group of people about 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
And she was talking about it, and she was saying, if you go on the internet, you're going to read and get all the information that you want, and basically Neil wants to make it, Sigourney wants to make it, and Ridley Scott is doing...
he has to do a Prometheus sequel first.
Yes, and it's Aliens: The Covenant. It's now called. It wasn't called that, but it's now called that. Now... supposedly he's going to be doing a third one, but Sigourney seems pretty confident that we'll be up next.
You said Neil wants to do it, Ridley wants to do it, but do you want to do it?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Okay, 100%. Just making sure.
Well, and Sigourney, in front of this group of people, basically confirmed that it was going to be a direct sequel and that Michael was alive and all these things.
Neil called me and asked me about it. He talked to me about it. Script and so on and so forth, and I basically said, Neil, this is a scratch. I've been waiting to itch for 25 years.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Guys, thank you so much for talking to me today. This was amazing. All right. Best of luck with the rest of the Comic-Con, and we'll be on the lookout, quoting The Rock all the time. So.
All right. I love it.